Protect yourself and your family from unexpected challenges. Consider accident-only income protection. Click the link in the description to find out more.
You want anything bad enough? Don't make excuses. You gotta lose your time and your sleep for it. You find a way.
Boxing King Media in association with SaveMoreMoney.com. Frank Smith, we're out here in the Golden State Warriors Arena Stadium. What is it?
This is the Chase Center. This is the home of the Golden State Warriors, where Steph Curry plays. You know, you're standing. You and Steph Curry have shared the same ground now.
Is he like, I don't know, the Muhammad Ali of basketball? I don't know.
He's quite a legend of basketball. I mean, look, I'm not the biggest of basketball. I'm not a basketball aficionado, mate, but he's a big deal, to be fair to the boy.
Good stuff, man. We're here for the boxing. I think one of the first things to highlight is amazing arena looking around, and I think no matter where you sat, you're going to get a good view. But you guys have sold 15,000 tickets for this event, which I think it's fair to say you probably didn't expect it. And Eddie told me yesterday he wasn't expecting that either. So how much of a shock is that?
Yeah, look, it's definitely outperformed what we thought it would do, especially we took a risk coming to San Francisco with it. There hasn't been major boxing here in many years. You know, even when we came here with Paul Smith for Andre Ward just down the road in Oakland, 30 minutes away, the numbers weren't huge there. But we saw an opportunity and we, like I say, we took it and it's paid off, and it's good to open up a new market, for shows. Because it's not easy in the US. There's a lot of competition for sports in the US, so it's good to see a huge audience in here, and it's going to be some atmosphere come Saturday night.
Obviously, Devin Haney and Regis Prograis, which one of them two do you think has been the catalyst in getting them sort of numbers? Is it the fact that because Devin's a local, or do you think the feedback from that face-off?
Look, I think the truth is people want to see great fights, and this is a great fight between the undisputed 135 champion and Regis Prograis, who many believe is the best at 140. And that's what it's about. You need two people to put together moments and events like this, and that's why we're going to have on Saturday night, because of the fight together. There's very few people in boxing, is the reality, or on their own in fights maybe that don't have as much meaning, can fill arenas. But this is a fight that, Devin Haney's building himself into a big star, obviously. Regis Prograis got an opportunity on Saturday night, obviously, going in as world champion, but to take a lot of that star power that Devin's built. But it's definitely because of the fight itself. It's a massive fight and a fight people are very much looking forward to.
I said to it, I didn't ask Eddie this, but I'll ask you.
One other thing, it's priced correctly as well. It's not
what other prices.
Tickets that are left now are $38 and $58. It's priced at the right prices. It's about not being greedy. It's the only way we're going to build this sport is by people tuning in and have a packed out venue. US boxing struggled for a long time, outside of the major stars. But to have an audience like this, it's brilliant to see.
So based on that, does that mean, obviously I don't know the ticket prices, but when Showtime, BBC do events, what are the prices compared to that, to what you guys are doing?
No, look, I'm not saying it's Showtime, but I think we've all been guilty in the past of, so I'm not saying these guys, those guys. It's about pricing it the right way, and I think that's what we've done.
I like how you recovered that. So the face-off, loads of unpolitically correct language used in the face-off. Was it much of a decision to just kind of roll with it and leave that? Because obviously we see that in music and stuff like that. Because I can imagine as a brand, it might have been a bit of a decision maker. That.
Yeah, look, we can be a little bit more unfiltered in what we show than maybe some other traditional linear broadcasters could. So yeah, we have to make a choice, but that's what it was. You saw the real face-off there.
I've got no issue with it because at the end of the day they were talking to each other, and it's interesting you highlighted that because one of the things I picked up from it was I've never seen anything like that on Sky Sports before, and is that? Yeah,
they're very much restricted, and I'm not saying that's wrong, by the way, but it's a different audience, and there's a lot of rules and laws around that type of thing, but yeah, it's a different thing. I'm not condoning anything, but at the same time, we're filming something. It's just like if you were filming something now and someone said something, you put it out there and it is what it is, and that's what we've done.
Just for the record, you're not condoning anything, because the last time I interviewed you in America, we got you into a bit of shit. We don't want any of that. But I was just trying to highlight the fact, and it's key this, I'm trying to highlight the fact that being an app, which the Zone is, it gives you more flexibility to kind of post whatever you want because you're not kind of regulated as much as Sky Sports, for example.
Yeah, look, there's still regulations in place, but we've also got. It was very much driven by YouTube. It's done huge numbers, over 1 million viewers on YouTube, which is massive. And it just shows the size of this fight. But yeah, as always, we have to follow regulations, and that's what other broadcasters have to do. And there's different rules all around the world for that.
There is. Let's move away from this card. Big news yesterday. This big secret meeting that we saw Simon Jordan and Conor Benn have. A lot of people online are suggesting that Simon Jordan is now in Matchroom's pockets and he's going to push a positive agenda. So I'm going to let you respond to them people that are suggesting that.
Well, that would be the biggest U-turn ever, wouldn't it? I mean, I don't know what we've done. Must have paid him a lot of money, to do that. He's obviously on a fortune as a DJ, but no, there's nothing's changed there. I don't know. I didn't really know about it. I've seen 30 seconds of Simon Jordan talking about it. I think what it shows is that there's a lot of things that can't and haven't been spoken about because of the technicalities, the legalities behind it. And in this whole situation, maybe not always has it been dealt with from a PR perspective, the way people would like it to have been dealt with, but you also have to balance out the legal side of it and the future of Conor Benn's career and what he's had to do in order to keep his career going, and that continues. And if someone like Simon Jordan, who has been probably the biggest advocate of pushing the messaging the other way, is saying what he's saying, then I'm sure there's a lot of things. Once it's able to come out, once more things are able to speak about, then it will change people's view on it. But it's a bit like I've made a lot of statements along the line where people have questioned things, but until you have the full picture, and we're all guilty of this as well in all walks of life, making a judgment call on one headline or this, that, or what someone says without too many facts. We're all guilty of it. Not just in boxing and not just in these situations, but you have to understand that there's a lot going on in the background on a number of different situations where you just don't understand it. And maybe we'll never, there's a lot of things I'll probably never understand and have a view on it, but it doesn't make it right. It's just my opinion. But, Simon would have, I'm sure, heard a lot of facts and information in there that maybe will change his view. I don't know, I don't speak to him.
Just for clarity, he's not on the Matchroom payroll?
No, I think he might be, as of last week. I think he might be.
Yeah, it's worth highlighting that. And the other thing as well, and I like to pick up on things that people are complaining and moaning about. The other thing people are saying is that Simon, when he came out and spoke about his meeting, and he said, which is something that's been put out by a lot of people, saying, Conor's a great guy, and the people are trying to say that, that's overshadowing what's really going on behind the scenes. Just your views and opinions on that, because obviously Simon, I'm assuming, is the kind of person that he's just going to say what he thinks, and what he said is what he thinks.
Yeah, I don't think he's someone who tries to impress anyone. I mean, look at the relationships that we've got with him. He's not there to be everyone's mate. He's very good at what he does, but he's not just going to say something because he thinks someone's a nice guy, and he'll be honest. It's the best way to be in life, obviously. But I don't think that detracts from whatever conversation they've had. The conversation they've had is going to be what feeds his ability to take a view on the situation now. Not just because he goes, he's a nice bloke. Sure, there's lots of nice people out there that you could say, I don't quite understand or believe what they're saying, but I'm sure he would have learnt a lot in that conversation. Again, I wasn't there. I don't know the extent of it. I've seen 30 seconds of Simon Jordan talking about it on his show with Spencer Oliver on TalkSport. But yeah, it's interesting. Like I say, a lot of people, I'm sure in due course, will find out more detail once it's ready to come out.
And then obviously if Conor does fight, and Eddie suggested earlier that it's more than likely going to be a different opponent, probably in the States, would you go back to Florida, I'm assuming, because he's already licensed there?
No, he's licensed in Texas. His boxing license is in Texas. He fought in Florida. He's got no restrictions. Like I say, he's not suspended.
Can I just say on that point, it's actually interesting clarifying that, because most people assume he was licensed by Florida Commission, which obviously people have spoken quite negatively about that. So you're saying it's the Texas Commission?
So yeah, his individual license as a fighter is with the Texas Boxing Athletic Commission, and he fought in Florida. So he had to get multiple parties had to accept and approve. It wasn't just we went to Florida, he got licensed there. The fight got licensed in Florida, and him as a fighter has got his license in Texas.
Realistically, opponents, I know Eddie mentioned Jaron Ennis, but I think for being fair, it's highly unlikely going to be Jaron Ennis in 8 weeks.
You never know. You never know. Look, there's a lot of names going around. We've got to make the right call. I still want to focus. I think we'll get the Eubank fight done, and it's the natural fight for everybody. But let's see.
Last thing, Alycia Baumgardner, she's highlighted loads of issues with the whole drug testing procedure, especially her own particular test. Obviously, these are the bodies that you guys are paying money to conduct all these tests. Does it concern you or worry you that the people that you're paying and trusting to carry these tests out, flaws are being highlighted by fighters who have obviously tested positive?
Look, I mean, this is an ongoing, situation of improvements need to be made across all levels, and people who are specialists within this field need to work together and decide the best way forward. We want to make the sport as safe as possible. Look, VADA are obviously at a very high level of what they do. They've been involved in thousands and thousands of fights and other sports, I'm sure, over the years. But we always want to keep improving. And it's for those experts within that field and the commissions and the relevant bodies to improve these things. I've always been quite open. I don't sit there. I can't read these things and understand them. It's not my world. But there are people who we pay to decide these things, and that's, like I say, it's an ongoing process that will continue to evolve and improve over the years.
And if you're paying the body that tested Alycia, would you be thinking twice about using them again if she's highlighted all these issues? I think the handling of the tests, I think she said they wasn't transported properly, and there's loads of other stuff, but save you the boring details.
Look, I can't really speak on that side of things because I don't understand. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's multiple people involved at a very high level who specialise in this area, and they will make the decisions. And like I say, if there's issues with things, that will all be dealt with by the relevant parties. I'm not your man who's going to sit here and say, yes, these are. I can't read a 50-page doping document and understand it. I'm not sitting here professing to be an expert, but we all want to improve it and make the sport as safe as possible. And in order to do that, we need specialists within that field, and that's where we're investing money.
Your time, all the best. Any last words?
Don't miss it. Saturday night, live on DAZN, HANEY ProGrais, pay-per-view in the US, around the world on your DAZN subscription. Tune in.
Have you ever been stranded on the side of a motorway with a broken down car? Like me, is that something that worries you? That's where motor breakdown insurance comes in. If your vehicle breaks down, a trained professional will be sent out to get you back on the road. Or if this is not possible within the specified time frame, to transport you to your home or to the nearest garage.
You want anything bad enough? Don't make excuses. You gotta lose your time and your sleep for it. You find a way. You want anything bad enough? Don't make excuses. You gotta lose your time and your sleep for it.